Okay, my name is Zachary Tribbett, and I am the Library Instructional Technologist here at Catawba College. I work here at the Digital Learning Lab. What we're doing today is kind of unboxing a new piece of technology that we have in the Learning Lab, uh, geared around robotics. We'll be kind of unboxing the Sphero Bolt. We just received this last week. Kind of unbox it, look at all its features that it has, kind of play around with it, and see how that will kind of apply to students here at Catawba College. So, real quick before I move into that, is that everything that we have here at Catawba College in the Digital Learning Lab is free to students, faculty, and staff. We do have our website here where you can look at all of our technology and tools that we have. You can do a 360 tour of what we have. You can check out our social media. We are on Instagram, Twitter, and also TikTok, and we have some things on YouTube as well. This is the place, this is the hub where you can get consultations, make appointments, and check out all the tools of equipment and look at all of their instructional videos and reserve time for those. So just making you aware of that, but we're going to move on into this, unboxing this wonderful piece of technology. So, Sphero Bolt, it has decent packaging. I don't know if anybody has come from K 12 programs here in North Carolina around Catawba College, like Rowan County and Cabarrus County and Charlotte, but a lot of K 12 programs use this for introductory coding to learn with that, and we also use that here. Here it states that you can create and customize some games. This is good for drawing, block, and text coding. So if you're new into coding and you want to learn more about it, there is that drag and drop feature that you can do. But if you're interested in coding, just typing it out, this does use JavaScript. You would be able to use that too. There are activities that are already preloaded onto these apps, and if you just want to check this out and drive it around and play with it, there is actually an app that you can just connect it and no coding whatsoever and just play around with it. So some of the new things that it does have apparently is that it does have some advanced sensors. We'll talk about those. One of the biggest things coming with the Bolt is that it does have this LED matrix, this 8x8 LED array that you can customize and do animations with as well. And then there's this new thing which only makes sense if you have multiple bolts, is that you can communicate with other bolts together, so they can play out some things, they can communicate together. There's all these features, live sensors, there is a charging dock for it. It is very durable. I'm not sure if we're going to test that out. It does have the wireless connection between the bolt and the app, and it does have this aiming, which we will mess around with as well. The packaging looks cool. Let's go ahead and just open this real quick. If I can open it, stickers in the most interesting locations. We'll set that to the side. Of course, you get your packaging with some type of materials. Go ahead and open that. This does come with a clock, possibly in helping with aiming, depending on what level you're using this for. It also has the heading and directions for degrees. It does have something in terms of a magnet in here that does that true north or that magnetic north. This would be helpful for that. You have some wonderful stickers. And then, of course, you have the boring paper, the legal guide. Get that out of here. And it looks like it's just very simple. You have your docking station. You have your cord that does go into the docking station. And then you actually have the Sphero bolt, which you can see that LED array that's there. And what's interesting about the bolt is that you can actually see all of the components that are in the machine. So move that box off to the side. Kind of leave ourselves with the bolts. I'm just going to go ahead and plug in the cord. Do hope that it has just a little bit of charge. Actually, I don't have any ports left over, so we're just going to go off of the charge that it does have right now. So it's kind of an inductive charging. There's magnetic charging that's there, so there's no direct connection between the bolt and the actual charging ports that's here. It does have 2-hour runtime, and I do think, based off of some of the research, is that it has 6 hours to charge fully. So trade-off may not be that great, but maybe you won't be using this continuously for 2 hours, and then you can go in between and charge it in between things that you're coding or that you're doing. So move all of this out of the way and just be left with the bolt. So it is driven by an app. There's nothing on the bolt that you can actually physically program or turn on. Everything is activated by the app. So there's 2 types of apps that you can get into. One is the Sphero Play, which we will open up right now. It's quite loud. That is very loud. So when you open up Sphero Play, this is kind of like the plug and play app. Don't necessarily need to know much coding whatsoever. You can connect the bolt to this and you can automatically do quite a few things. You can select, there's a ton of things. The Mini's a golf ball sized one. The Spark is much like the Bolt, but the Bolt is an upgrade of it. And then you have this 2.0 version. So we're going to hit the Bolt. Make sure that this is close enough for the iPad to pick up, or it can be done on your phone. You can actually see the LED is actually turning on. I might turn off one of these lights in the office real quick, just so we can see just a little bit better. Let's see. We may need one of them on. So when you open up the Sphero bolts and you connect to it, it's going to ask you to aim it, and this is it to get its orientation. It asks you to point it at you. What I know from that is that when you point it at you, that will be forward forever and always. And some people don't make the connection that when I'm trying to move my Sphero vote forward, it's actually going to move towards you. I kind of want it to actually move forward to where I'm looking. So instead of having it point towards me, I'm actually going to have it point towards the wall. And once you let go, that will be its true north technically. And you can see that now I can take that and grab, and now I'm going forward. There's left, there's right. You can see how it does that sort of about face look before it makes the change and then move in that particular direction. On this app, you have some options if you wanted to connect to a different robot, which we don't currently have at the Digital Learning Lab. There is the settings feature that's up at the top. These are just customizable things that you can do. Currently, it's kind of set to purple, but you can change this LED color to any color within the spectrum. I do thoroughly enjoy purple. You can actually drop down the brightness as well until it's turned off. You don't have to actually have it on, or you can make it as bright as possible, kind of put it as a medium so it kind of shows some of those LED lights in the matrix. You can set its speed, so as you're doing the joystick, maybe it's going very slow or very fast. We'll kind of drop it down here. And there are certain things with the sound that you can mess with as well. There are advanced settings where you can turn it off and learn some more. And then there's that gyro assist that you can mess with, but we're not going to go into that. So now, I did change the speed a little bit. It may show up. Maybe I didn't change it too much. But again, you changing those, you can see that changing in the Sphero bolt here. And then there's some options here at the bottom. You can see this little driver's wheel. You can click that, and there are some different type of driving modes that you can do. Currently, we've been using joystick, same thing, doesn't do anything. And you note that when you open up one of these, it will go flip to that true north that you set before you move anything. Because you currently, with a sphere, may not be able to know what true north is. It will flip it there before you actually start moving. So we have slingshot, which what that does, as you can see, it's flipping back to that true north. I can pull back at a certain intensity and release, and it looks like I have slingshot it over there. I can slingshot it back to me. And again, I'm doing it very slow. I can pull way back, and it goes far. Slingshot it in other directions. So that's a different type of drive mode. Let me just slingshot it back to me. Okay, another drive mode is the tilt, and this actually uses the sensor that is within the device that you have in your hand. So clearly it's on a little safety mode. Nothing's going to work until I hit the play button. And then these green dots are going to move around, signifying in which way that this is leaning. So wherever I tilt it, this bolt is going to go in that direction. I'm just trying to tilt it very slowly. I don't know how sensitive this is, but with this motion, I can have it drive around the table, and then I can pause it at any time. We can go here. Scream drive, possibly going to be very embarrassing. Apparently, you need to make noise to give it the intensity of movement and then aim in the direction that it needs to go. So I'm speaking and I'm giving it technically the throttle, but I'm not going anywhere because I haven't set a direction. I will actually not talk, and I will actually push it in a direction to show you that it's not going to go anywhere because I'm not giving it power. You can see that. So now I'm going to move it, and then I'm going to talk normally and give it a little bit of power to move. So as you can see now, it is moving based off of my voice, and I can scream at this thing to intensify that circle, and it goes faster and faster. I will not do that due to the limited amount of space that I have on this table. But I'll actually do a constant note to see what happens. Okay, so hopefully you'll never hear that again. Kick gives you this idea that it's kind of like soccer. You have kicked it in that direction. You're just going to flick it, tap it to trap it, which means it's going to stick in place. So I'm going to tap it my way, stop it, and then curve it to swerve it. So there's that little bit of curve that you can do to it. That's a little interactive. And then there's blocks, which is actually doing its own introduction to programming slightly. You can orient it so it's facing towards you. I'm still going to orient it towards the wall because that makes more sense to me. And literally it is just movements and lights and its blocks. So this is basically very, very introductory level coding with blocks. So let's say I want it to go forward and then I want it to turn orange, and I want it to come back. Very simple. I can add a lot of blocks here, but I'm going to hit start. It's moved forward. You see that it's turned orange, and now it's going to come back a little bit further than I expected, but you can catch it, and apparently it's very durable. We're not testing that currently right now, unfortunately. And then there's this middle button from the main screen, which is really just the orientation, so you can aim this before you start any certain task. I didn't want it that direction. I want it towards the wall, so I expect and know where everything is going. And then what's interesting with this app is that it does have some game elements to it. So there is this Exile 2 that exists. And what I believe happens is you can play this game and then you use the Sphero bolt to move to play the game that's on the screen. I believe that is the case. And you're actually starting to see some of the game icons probably happen on this matrix. Let's see if that's the case. So it's telling me to turn it. And there you go. It's acting like a mouse, and it will automatically shoot. And it's exactly like those classic games that you know about. I don't know if it will go further than this asteroid, but there I go. I've got a level up. I could probably lose quite a few time doing this game, but I need to do my job. And as I'm saying that, I am still playing. I hit the pause button. So there we go. I can restart. I can go as far as I want to, but we're going to go back out. Other games, Lightspeed Drifter. I'm guessing maybe the same concept with driving. Reach the end. Let's see what happens. I could do. Oh, okay. So I'm spinning the actual rings. The car is not moving. And I'm just rotating the Sphero in my hand. As you can tell, it's hard for me to concentrate, talk, and play a game at the same time. I'm going to go ahead and call that a win and pause that and get out of that. Let's see what else exists here. So this round trip, I have no idea what this is. Let's check it, play it. So I'm doing the same thing. So I'm rotating this. Oh, am I having to hit everything? Okay, so the ball has to hit every side. Okay, I can. Okay, okay, I got you. So these are some plug and play games that you can do. Again, if you're interested in messing with the Sphero Bolt just to kind of understand what it's about, this is a good app for you to use. And I keep forgetting that I have to actually match the color. So we have the apps that are on the iPads here at the Digital Learning Lab, and you can also bring in your own phone and connect to it as well if you have some things that you want to do. So that is the Sphero Play. The next actual app is Sphero EDU, which is more of that educational thing that we would probably be using primarily here in the Digital Learning Lab. This is the one that actually teaches you how to code and actually see that happening with your Sphero Bolt. This is the screen here. Tons of different options in here. Those are your messages. You can make a free Sphero account and then save all of your stuff that you do on here. There is also a 3D view. Sphero has other products as well, like this rover. But if you're looking at the Bolt, you can actually scroll through, and it does an explosion of all the parts and zooms in and lets you know of all of these parts that you're seeing here. What are they called? And possibly what do they do layer by layer rotating until it's back all in the together. So if you're wanting to learn about other Sphero products, you can go through that as well and see the explosion of the actual device. Settings exist as well. There's also a battery indicator, which we do need to connect to our Sphero Bolt for this to work. It doesn't go between both apps. You will actually have to connect both times, and now I'm connected and I can actually see that I have my battery level. It's really good. I can disconnect, I can turn off, and I can look at firmware. So this is home, and I can look at getting started. So let's say I just got into this. I want to learn how to draw technically with the Sphero Bolt, which is more of doing particular lines. I'm learning beginner block coding, advanced block coding, and then I can go all the way up to text, which is what we would use here at Catawba College. There are these featured activities as well, and then there are programs. Some of these involve purchasing extra things like this maze, which is really interesting. You can make this out of your own materials as well, but there's a lot of activities that you can do regarding problem solving. More specific activities, if you sign up, that are done via Sphero, the community that's out there. There are a few that people have done and have developed, teachers and students all across the place. And then there's CS Foundations, computer science foundations that exist in middle and high school. And then there are your programs that you have, my programs, Sphero's programs as well, things that already exist that you can just add and try and manipulate, and then from the community as well. So programs, it will automatically generate you a program. You can view it, and this is what it will look like. This is the block coding. Sorry, you cannot see that very well, but this is the block coding that exists. All of the things that you can do are at the bottom, from movements to lights all the way to communications, variables, functions. There's a ton of things, and all you do is drag that into there and then snap it for it to work. And again, you can go in between many different types of functions, movements, and actions. It gives you a nice introductory one. Once you have what you want, you can hit the start button that's up at the top, and it runs your particular program. So for this one, all it was to change the main LED to a particular color. It's going to go forward, it's going to take a delay, and then it's going to roll backwards. And that's what it does. You can do a lot of setup here. You can aim it in a particular location, because if you know the code is going to go in a particular direction, you can do that aiming like we did in the Play app. There is also the speed that you can set up as well, the aiming, and I can pre-move something into a location. I can go back through and change the color and the brightness. And then there's also other things. There's a camera. It can open up the camera so that you can record your actual code working. It can show you sensor data. So in terms of maybe very difficult to see, location, orientation, gyroscope, accelerometer, velocity, and distance. It can show you those over a certain amount of time. You can blow that up very big as well. And you can close out of that. There's your JavaScript code. So moving into text-based stuff, you can actually see the block code beside the text code, so you can start learning things at the same time. Oh, this block actually equals this line of code on line 3, line 4. You'll actually be able to see that and start learning it at the same time. And then there's reset, there's cleaning up blocks, there's a lot of other things that you can do. And it just congratulated me for doing my first code. That is about it for the Sphero. Again, great for, and the sound is back on again, great for learning how to code Very simple movements, your front, your back, your curves, orientation to different locations. What hasn't been shown is the how to program the LED array, which is something that I could probably find within the home if I can find it. The lights, so there's blocks 3 for lights. These are the activities. Let's see if there are actually some programs that exist for this. There should be. I may have to go home and do that. Getting started, loops, lights. Let's see the blocks here. I can view the steps and go through activities and learning modules and playing particular videos and then creating programs. It's much better if you sign in so that it can save all of your work and that you can do those things. But yeah, you can also scan QR codes that are here. There's a ton of things for you to explore. So this technology is available. The Sphero Bolt is now available at the Digital Learning Lab here at Catawba College, um, right beside our Misty robots that we also have, which have more features with them as well. So if you're interested in coding or learning, or maybe taking a break during the semester and want to play with a Sphero Bolt, come on by to the Catawba College Library. We are on the second floor. You'll see the wonderful digital learning lab signs that exist leading you upstairs. Come see me. My name is Zach Trivet. We also have some student workers in here that will be more than willing to help you figure out what you want to do, what you need, and help you out with any questions that you may have. That's it for the Sphero Bolt. Come check us out. Hopefully, we'll see you sometime soon. If it's not for the Sphero Bolt, maybe a ton of the other things that we have here in the Digital Learning Lab.